Hello, Spinner94 here today, bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This was a battle I had on my stream a while ago, a UU battle, as you can tell there, against Chantell, who I've battled quite a bit on the channel. You know what, Chantell always brings really interesting teams, so it's always a good matchup. Sometimes I win, sometimes she wins, sometimes she completely sweeps me with a Vaporeon, and I put a Focus Sash on a Destiny Bond Gallade. But you know what, that's a story for another day, and for the people who can remember that on stream. So, anyway, good God, I need to clear my DS. We jump into this battle here, and Zapdos is, of course, going to lead off, as I'm going to lead off with Zapdos, and she's going to lead off with a Whimsicott. So, not the best setup for me, but I do have this kind of a secret weapon here. So, she predicts me to go for the Volt Switch, but I go for the Heat Wave here. So, I was hoping that Whimsicott to stay in, but nope, it does not. So, this Nidoking ends up outspeeding me and going for Ice Beam. I was expecting Life Orb, but then it turns out to be the Scarf set, so that's not great for me, as at this point, I was not wanting to really reverse this thing. So at least I know it's Scarf, so I do have a swift switch into my Registeel here, and I know this person's going to have to switch. So I know Chantell's going to switch here into something, but I wasn't sure what. But then she goes into Volume Haze, which is the Whimsicott, which is an awesome name, as I went for an Earthquake here. Probably should have went for the Thunder Wave in hindsight, but meh, hindsight's 2020. So Lefties is going to get some recovery on this Whimsicott here, as I'm not really wanting to stay in this thing. I know it's a Fairy type and I am a Steel type, but I don't have any Steel moves to hurt this thing. So Zapdos is going to come back in, as I do have the Heat Wave able to hurt this thing, as it does decide to get a Cotton Guard. So it's a defensive Whimsicott, which is an interesting set, so I'm reckoning Pranks, the Cotton Guard, Giga Drain, and all that kind of stuff. So in comes Leech Seed here, I'm like, oh, this thing is just going to be setting up on me for days here, so I just decided, you know what, Heat Wave, get a good chunk of damage, and I do manage to get the burn, which I really needed, because that's going to nullify the Leech Seed damage. So, of course, with me being Seed, I'm thinking I'm going to have to switch out into something, because this is not good for anybody's health here, as, of course, Chantell does predict the switch into, I believe she does predict the switch here, and I go out. Of course, I switch out. I believe I go into Lancelot here. Yes, I do. As Lancelot's my Lucario, I'm thinking Lucario can pretty much take this thing on, even if it wants to Leechies or something like that. And in comes the NT here, so she does get the predict on me. So I'm like, well, this is not good for me. So I am switching out straight away, because I can't afford to lose Lancelot yet. Lancelot is my late game sweeper. So in comes Donphan here, and Sacred Fire is unfortunately going to hit. I thought this thing was physical, but it turns out to be a mixed set. Oh, that is not good for Donphan. Donphan takes that ridiculously well considering, so great work Donphan, putting into work. As of course I'm predicting the switch here, so I go straight for the knockoff, and I do manage to knock off this thing's Damp Rock, which is a good thing, because I didn't want this thing having that much, rain set up everywhere. It's just raining all over the place all here. Make it rain! So anyway, Mellow's going to come in, as this thing does set up an Acid Armor, so this thing's going to be like max special defense. I'm reckoning max special defense, max health, so it's not going to be good for me, as the Rain Dance is set up as I go for a Toxic here. And of course, that was a stupid play, as this is a Hydration set, so that is not good for me. And I'm thinking, crap, this thing is going to end my life. And so Scald comes in here, and I don't manage to get burned. Thank God for that, as I'm going straight for a Moonblast here. And I do manage to get the special attack drop and a good chunk of damage. But unfortunately, I'm thinking this thing's probably going to be the rest set. And of course it is. So that's not good for me under hydration. These things are such a damn threat. I've always wondered why Vaporeon's a UU. And this thing certainly answered my question, as I'm going straight for a Moonblast. Nice chunk of damage there. But unfortunately, hydration's going to make sure this thing stays awake. So at this point, I'm thinking I need a way around this, as Scald is going to be incoming. It does a huge chunk of damage with a critical hit. That is not good. I'm just thinking, crap. At this point, it's like, I'm going to lose my special defense wall really early on in the match, and that burn is going to take its effect here. So I'm burnt as hell. I'm thinking this is not good. So she does withdraw and predicting me to switch out, because I predicted it to go for a rest here. So incoming NT, as of course I'm going to go straight into, I believe, Donphan or Lancelot here. Yep. I know I go into Zapdos actually of wanting to get the electric type in, so she does get the predict there, which is not, this is not going well so far. So I just decide to sod it. I'm going to stay in and go for a Thunderbolt, get a chunk of damage on this NT, but this thing goes for Stone Edge, unfortunately misses, which is good, because I need Zapdos in this battle, as I decide to switch out, seeing that Stone Edge basically scared the hell out of me. So Donphan's going to be incoming here, and Stone Edge is of course going to miss again, so that's just really unlucky for this NT. I'm getting some really lucky plays here. So NT's going to get the hell out of here, and Vaporeon's going to come back in, as I either go for a Poison Jab or an Earthquake. So I go for the Poison Jab here, and I'm wanting the poison to happen, but unfortunately it doesn't. So I didn't know whether to stick in at this point, but my gut told me to switch out. But this thing is probably going to go for a rest, as I go straight into Zapdos here. And I'm just hoping this thing doesn't have Ice Beam. So it does decide to set up the Acid Armor. I'm like, okay, you're at plus whatever now, so I think I decide to go for a Volt Switch here. And Dragonair goes incoming here. Yep. Nope, I go in for a Thunderbolt here as Dragonair takes quite a chunk of damage. And this thing was an interesting set, actually. After the match, he told me what this is. This is like Rest, Sleep, Talk, Dragon Dance, and Dragon Tail. Because when you're asleep, the priority bracket goes away for Dragon Tail. So that makes it quite an interesting set here. As I go for a close combat, and it does manage to live that thanks to EVO Light. I'm thinking, well, I probably could have... Get a bit more damage, but I'm not going to complain as that thing might be not very effective, but takes away half of my health, and my god, that's ridiculously powerful. So I'm going to stay in, go for a Thunderbolt here. I could have went for a Volt Switch, but I just wanted this thing dead at that point, and my god, that was certainly a fright on my Lancelot there. So in comes Nidoking again. Nidoking's going to go for an Ice Beam. Good chunk of damage, but I'm going to live that because I am Assault Vested as I go for a Heat Wave, just wanting damage on this thing. And I managed to take a huge chunk off this thing. I decided to say Zapdos for later since I haven't got Stealth Rock or anything up. So I'm going to switch into Samson again. No, the Ice Beam is incoming. And, you know, basically, I'm not going to take too much damage here. So I decide, okay, I believe I either go for a Thunder Wave or an Earthquake, predicting a switch of some kind here. So under the Vaporeon's going to come back in. I go for a Rock Tomb, actually. There we go, just in case I didn't want that coming. I get the crit and the speed drop. So with that speed drop, I am able to outspeed and go straight for an Earthquake and kill this thing off. So that is why you run Rock Tomb instead of Rock Slide, because sometimes that speed priority helps. So incoming Nidoking here, I'm switching out because it's like, okay, I'm reckoning the Fire Blast's incoming as I'm going to adjust the camera and make the camera angle worse. Sorry guys, I'm Fire Blast incoming. I do manage to live that, but the critical hit, I was hoping to just live that and synthesis off, but of course you can't ever predict Pokemon. Pokemon is the game of chance. So down goes poor old Mellow here, and I do bring in Lancelot, and I'm thinking, okay, E-Speed time. So I go for an E-Speed, get rid of this Nidoking, thank God for that, and basically down this thing goes. I'm like, okay, Entei's gonna be incoming here, I believe. Yes, I'm thinking, I didn't think an E-Speed would kill from here. I really don't know, I didn't do the damage calcs on this, but a gut feeling just said, switch, sacrifice Donphan, and it's probably going to be worth it in the end. So, incoming Donphan here. Sacred Fire's going to hit. It's going to get a critical hit. It's going to burn me, and it's going to ruin Donphan. I thought I'd get the chance to at least get an Earthquake off on this thing. So, at this point, I was thinking, I wasn't sure what to do. So, Sacred Fire is incoming. I expected it to kill. It didn't. I go for the Poison Jab here, and I just pray for the poison. Nope. do a very minimal damage to this, Entei here, and the burn's nearly going to finish me off. So Crush Claw's going to go in, which is an interesting move. I've never seen it used. I honestly don't know what it does at this point. So incoming Sharpedo, I'm thinking, okay, this is time to protect, get that speed boost up, and this is going to be a chance to do a lot of damage. So it does have extreme speed here, but I'm thinking Mega Sharpedo is actually surprisingly bulky for a sweeper. So I'm probably going to be able to live at least one of them. Not very well, mind you. So incoming E-Speed. That does a huge chunk to Sharpedo here, as I'm going to go straight for a Waterfall, kaboom, kill this thing off for good, and I'm thinking at this point, hopefully this is the game, maybe, but in comes Volume here, I'm like, crap, none of my stab moves are going to be very effective against this thing, as it goes for Cotton Guard here, and I get the jammiest look. I do Harry Ice Fang on this thing, so Ice Fang, boom, super effective crit. That was mean. That was so mean by the game. It would have lived otherwise, as I decided to go for a crunch here to finish this game off, nicely rounded up. So yeah, that was very unfortunate for Chantell, but still, good match. Chantell always gives me a good match. Sometimes, as I say, sometimes I get my ass kicked, sometimes she kicks my ass, and say just stuff like that. So anyway, thank you for watching here. This has been Spinning94. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Goodbye, guys.